Hello again and welcome back. My name's Annie and this is my creative detour. I'm jumping back on today to do the next full deck challenge. We're up to pink with black splatters, and the challenge is ran by Shana from ShanoukiArt. I will link her below if you're interested in joining the challenge. You can join it at any time. We did purple last week and we're going to be moving on to doing pink. Last week we had white splatters, this week we have black splatters. So I have to carry something forward. So today I'm going to be carrying forward flowers. So I used abstract kind of flowers or flower pods or that from last week from All and Create. And this week I'm going to be using some flowers again. I'm going to be using these ones from All and Create. And I got these in that haul video that I showed a few weeks ago in that mystery box. And these ones are called Light, Life and Love. And I'll be pulling out some of the flowers from here. There's quite an interesting mix of ephemera in that. I also have got a few things pulled out. I have some scrapbook paper and there's some of those flowers. I also have a serviette, and I've actually separated the serviette and taken the back layer off of it so that it is only one ply thick. And there's a few other scraps that I had from when I'd torn it up for something else. So we'll be maybe playing with that. I'm not sure whether I'm 100% on that yet. And then we have our hero of the composition, and this is her. She's a very jolly person who is in the middle of some rain, and she's got a very cool rain hat on and raincoat, very, very stylish, but she doesn't care that it's raining at all. So I'm going to be using her as my centerpiece. And I have got my paint chip. So for those of you that have watched before, you know that my continuing item from week to week to week has to be a paint sample. So I have my paint swatch and I have embossed that already with a embossing folder that I have that has raindrops on it. So because she's in the rain, I wanted to put some raindrops in the background. So I've got that done as well. So let's pull out a card, and I've just got the blacks again separated, especially with the black splatters. I'm wanting that, so let's pull out a card, see what it is, pop the others away, and we'll get started. Oh, we're going with the 4 of spades. I'll just get the area prepped and I'll be back with you in a moment. All right, I think I might start with the back of the card this week and get that done first so it's ready. So I'm just going to glue this on, and I just might use a little bit of art glitter glue so that it hits the spot pretty quick and dries pretty quick. Okay, I've got that glued down, so let's trim around the edge and get that fixed. Now, what news do I have for you this week? Oh, I know something. We're heading off on a cruise. I think that I've mentioned before that my husband and I are very big cruisers. We love cruising, not just in Australia, but anywhere. We've cruised in lots of different places in the world. We obviously get to cruise in Australia the most, and there's a very good cruise terminal in Brisbane, which is where I live. And it's not that far away. It's only maybe about half an hour's drive away. So it's very, very convenient to jump on a cruise and even do a few last minute ones. So we are going on a cruise. However, we're not cruising out of Brisbane this time. We've cruised out of Brisbane quite a lot and done all of the normal short cruises out of Brisbane that are available. So in the Easter holidays, we decided that we will go on a short cruise out of Sydney. Now, what's today's date? There we go, the 3rd of March. Beautiful. We've decided, as I said, we are going to go on a cruise out of Sydney, but we have to get to Sydney. So we're actually going to drive down. It's a bit of a drive. For those of you that have not been to Australia or don't live in Australia, our country is huge. So to get from one place to the other, it's a bit of a hike. So for us to drive to Sydney from Brisbane, it's at least a 10-hour drive, and that's going on the motorway that you can travel at 110 kilometres an hour for quite a lot of it, but it's still quite a bit of a hike. So it is much easier for you to jump on a cruise out of Brisbane, obviously for us, because it's only half an hour away. We get dropped off and we get picked up, and easy. However, all of the cruises are the same cruises over and over and over, going to the same locations that we've done multiple times. So let's just have a little look at our lady now. I've kind of got this cut close to the size. So let's just work out how high up we want her in the rain. And play with these flowers a little bit and get them positioned. Back to my cruise story. Obviously, to drive to Sydney, it's a very long way. Why go to Sydney? And the reason is because you'd get to go to different locations. Once you've done multiple cruises out of the same port, they tend to get a bit repetitive. So, okay, let's have a little look at play with some of these flowers. I kind of like these flowers. I need to bring over some flowers of some sort to her. And I really love her expression on her face, even though it's raining and it's raining quite heavily. The truth is, it was an advertisement. So the reality is that she's probably under a shower or a hose or something, but it's meant to look like it's rain. But she's very joyous. So I think her name would be Joy. And I have a sentiment selected for this composition, and it's called Find Joy in the Ordinary. And, you know, we have lots of rainy days here in Brisbane because we're subtropical. I actually love the rain. I love rainy days, but it does make it pretty steamy. So she actually looks like she's enjoying the rain as well. And I know that for some people that live in other countries, the rain is not as welcome because you have it for so long. I just really loved how happy she was, even though it is raining. Her name is Joy. It's raining, and she is bringing joy and happiness to the people around her. I want to tear off some of the background so that, or mark it so that I can compress some of the raindrops on the embossing, because it'll be very hard for it to glue, and it'll shine through some of the thinner paper that I'm using. So I'm just going to mark it so that I can see where she is and where we're going to. So we've got an arm there. So you can see I'm just putting a few little marks down because I want to compress some of those raindrops in that zone. So I'm just going to rub over those with my bone folder so that it pushes them back down, and that's feeling much better. All the raindrops that are under her are now compressed down. Okay, before we glue that down though, I want to think about where we're going to show our number. So if we've got Joy sitting positioned here, I want to see the 4 of spades out of her armpit. So I'm going to just mark it here and to here. I'm going to just tear that portion out. Then I can put the serviette over the top of that. When I'm gluing this down, I want to try not to squash too many of those raindrops, because the whole point of embossing it was that we would get some raindrops on there. All right, I'll just trim that off. Let's put some of this serviette on. So I just want to decide which piece I want. Put this here so that we can see the four of spades through this. I'm just going to trim that down a little bit. And I actually want to tear it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet it with the brush. Like draw around the pieces that I don't want, around the outline of what I do want, and tear off that. And it should tear reasonably easy, just around where I've drawn with my paintbrush, like that. And I just didn't want, if I'd cut it with a pair of scissors, it would have been a sharp edge, and I didn't want a sharp edge on it. Now I'm just going to use some mixed media rice paper glue by Stamperia, and it's quite good for gluing down, well, obviously rice paper, but also serviettes. So I'll just put some down, position this on here, and I want to do it so that I can still see the four of spades through the serviette. So that looks reasonable. And I'll just glue it down gently. It seals the serviette. We'll let that dry and I'll come back to you when it's ready. Okay, that's dried now. I'm going to just trim that down. Yeah, so talking back about the cruise, so we're going to drive down, and the reason we're driving is it will work out cheaper than flying. However, that's not the main reason, because we fly down quite often to see family to New South Wales. The main reason is so that we can take some of my husband's tools with us, because we're going to do a little bit of maintenance on my parents' house during the holidays after the cruise. So we'll do a cruise, then we'll visit family and do a little bit of DIY, and then we can go at our own pace and be able to take everything we need. We're actually going to be going on two cruises, like a back-to-back cruise, which will be good, and family are going to be joining us on the second one, because we've got to celebrate somebody's big birthday that ends, another one that ends in a 0, and it is a very big one. Okay, back to Joy here. I'm thinking that I'm going to glue these on, some of these, and I know I've got to do my black splatters. I don't want to do black splatters on her. I'm pretty sure I only want to do black splatters in the background. Work out where I want the flowers, and then I will splatter around that. Oh, that's good. So we only need to glue that one on. Let's glue that flower down and then do our black splatters. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any black acrylic paint that I can put my hands on. I did have some, but my craft room has moved location probably about 6 months ago in the house. Like, it was in a different location, different room, and then it's been moved to this one. And in that relocation, I can remember where it was in the old room. I could have stood up, put my hands right on it, but I've not been able to find it. So black splatters with something else. I may have to try and do some watercolor black splatters, which is not ideal, but we will give it a go. I'm just putting down a bit more of a drop sheet. Bring in my ink tents. For those of you that haven't seen these are Derwent ink tents blocks. These are fairly new for me, and we'll get some black happening. All right, that will be plenty. I'll pop that to the side so we don't get ink all over that. And I'll drop some more water into this, make it a little bit more liquid. Now ideally I would have done this with black acrylic, but we've got to work with what we've got. Okay, I think that that's enough. Pop that to the side to let it dry. I'm happy with those black dots actually. They are black, but they're almost like a charcoal. They're not intense because it's watercolor. It's a little bit more pulled back. I think it's best to probably glue her down with rice paper glue again. So I'm going to put some on the back of her, and I need to position her so that we miss all of the raindrops. Yeah, that looks good. And then we'll give her a coat and seal her off. Give that a bit of a blast with my heat tool again, and I'll be back. Okay, we have Joy dry now. So we'll cut her down for a bit of a trim up. And she is very joyous, isn't she? It's a great name for her. All right, I'm liking this, and I'm liking the flowers going off the edge, extending the composition. And I like that the four of spades is just peeking out from there. So let's glue a few things down. The quality of this ephemera from All and Create is excellent. To be honest, I've not used All and Create's ephemera before either. I've used some of their other products, mainly their stamps. I'm very, very happy with them, using them last week and this week. It's quite sturdy. Like I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on it, and the printing on it is very crisp and clear. So yeah, I am very impressed with them. Oh, she is lovely. Okay, now I have one or two other things I'd like to do. I think I'd like to, I need to put an eyelet in. These are little crystal gems from Paper Rose Studio here in Australia. And I quite like the idea of putting some of them on the raindrops or on the flowers. Now the reason I'm maybe want to do that is because I've got some little gems here, or little embellishments on this one. So it would be carrying those over as well. However, these ones look a little bit like raindrops. So I'm thinking I'd like to put a few on there. However, I think I'll do the eyelet first and then have a little bit of a play and see if I want to do that. So let's get the eyelet situation happening. Okay, we'll just pop a little hole in here. I've just marked it. And punch a hole. Oh, that's good. It just missed her head. I think that I like maybe the pink. Pulling in this colour. Let's do the pink. All right. I'll just set that. And we will put on our sentiment. I think I said this before, like find joy in the ordinary. And I'm thinking I like it with the white background. Let's trim it after in. All right, I'm just going to now, I've trimmed that, worked out where I want it. I'm going to glue that down with a little bit of extra art glitter glue. Okay, so let's put a few of these little crystals on. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on the embossed raindrops. And I'm just going to use the little ones that will glue them on. Now these come in a packet. I've just put them in this little container. And look how many you get from Paper Rose. And I've been using them now for possibly, maybe a year, close to a year. And it doesn't seem to have made a dent in the supply. Put the lid back on that so we don't spill them. That would be an absolute nightmare. Okay, I'm happy with Joy. I think that I would like to put a few little scratchy lines around that sentiment. Yeah, that's good. Okay, here's Joy. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It says, find joy in the ordinary, and a rainy day um, is not uncommon here and probably in lots of other places, but she is very joyous even though it is raining. I've put some little crystal ephemera on here just to catch the light a little bit to show the raindrops. And I've also put a little bit of Wink Stella on her hair because her hair is very wet. Yeah, I think it's cute. I think that Joy is exactly that. She is joyous and enjoying the rain. And there's the date. It's the 3rd of March today. There's today's card. Let's add her to the pack. There we go. There's pink with black splatters. And we're getting a little bit of a collection going, aren't we? All right, there we go. We've got Joy in the pack, and she has joined Josie and Franny. So we've got a few people in here now. We haven't named this little monkey here, but maybe you can put in the comments below what you think the monkey's name might be. I think he needs a name. Okay, if you liked the video today, give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And think about subscribing to the channel to help it grow. And I will see you all very soon, either with another card in the full deck challenge or with another project that I'm working on. So have a great day and see you soon. Bye for now.